Hey staff, today we're going to discuss FERPA and what it is and what you can do to prevent from violating. So, FERPA is a federal law that protects the confidentiality of student records. It also does not prevent disclosure of directory information. So there's a Title 20 that we need to pay attention to, and we can see the regulations that are found in Title 34. So FERPA is administered by the Family Policy Compliance Office, the FPCO, through the Department of Education. All schools that are receiving federal funds must follow these rules. So who has rights? Parents, if they claim their students on their taxes. There's also guardians, so it doesn't have to be their biological parents, but they do need to be considered guardians through the courts. And then if a student is 18 years or older, or if they're still younger and they do start as a post-secondary institution, then they can have their information. So these rights, they help prevent the disclosure of personal identity. So anything that their education records might hold about them, they need to have consent for. They can also access to review and inspect student education records, and then you can request correction of these education records if there's something wrong with them. Educational record protected and must be kept confidential. So these are the students' grades. You shouldn't leave your papers laying out with grades on them, or your grade book anywhere where students can get a hold of it. There's also their immunization and health records. So usually those are dealt with the school nurse. The disciplinary records, this is more towards the admin, or if you are doing any disciplinary in your classroom, then that needs to be kept private. Student progress reports also need to be kept private. Academic and physical testing results, grade point average, and attendance records. What is not protected? So if a school official sees or hears something that is inappropriate, then they may discuss it with appropriate authorities, and these can include administrators, other school officials, parents, or law enforcement. Directory information, public notice to families. So every school district must have a directory information that is a public notice to families, and these families need to sign these papers to say that they understand what information is going to be disclosed about their student. So here's a list of all the different ones. Other not protected materials, surveillance taken by the school law enforcement. So your SROs, if they need to use them, or if admin want to look back and see about an incident that happened. Also, so if there's parents do have the rights to see these videos, and if there's more than one student involved and there's not a way to cut out students, well then all families that are involved can view the video, even if another person disagrees with letting them see their kid in an action that they were doing. So how does FERPA apply to you? Well, basically you should just act as if all information is protected by FERPA, just to keep, safe. Only share information with other school officials if they have educational interest in the student. So be careful being in the faculty lounge and talking about students, or in the hallways, and about what kind of information you're sharing. Of course, use your judgment. And then most violations are done on accident, of course. like I was saying, being in the faculty lounge, hallway, just kind of be more conscientious about what you're doing. So, mindful prevention. Again, with your technology, be careful about what you're using. Use the school appropriate technology. Then also try to stay on the school approved sites that do not require students to enter personal information. So let's say you found a cool new game online and it's educational, but it requires the students to enter personal information. It has not been approved through the school, so therefore you probably shouldn't use it. And be careful emailing information. This can be a big one. If you're going to email about a student, I would use initials, grade level, and building. Then you don't really disclose exactly the full information. So then you need to be careful about your assignments, the graded assignments and grade books. Like I said earlier, you need to keep those in a secure area. Prevent violations. So do not leave protected information up on your computer. Always close it out. And then before you do that, or after you do that, then you need to lock your computer. That way nobody can go ahead and get logged back in. Then do not discuss attendance with anyone. The only exception for this is for health or safety purposes. So if there's an emergency and healthcare officials need to know something, or police or anybody that might be involved in the emergency situation. So read or question what the directory information policy states for your district. And if you still have questions after that, I would go to your admin and, ask what you need to do. And if you have any concerns about something you've already done, then that's probably, have that discussion. The consequences. So if a parent or eligible student files a FERPA complaint against your school, the FPCO can investigate, and then they will determine what action should be taken. In some cases, this will be your funding, and we do not want that. So just be very conscientious and follow the rules. Here are the references. And if you have any questions, please let me know.